The velvet box in my palm is heavier than it should be. Inside lies the platinum key to my brand new Porsche 911 Turbo S. Iridescent paint shifting from midnight blue to violet under the showroom lights. I'm supposed to be celebrating instead. My phone buzzes against the Italian leather steering wheel with a text from Mom. Dad saw your car on the neighbor's Ring camera. We're coming over. We need to talk about family contributions. Family contributions. The same phrase she used the day she told me they couldn't make my wedding because Landon's promotion dinner was more important. The same phrase she used when they skipped the rehearsal of the ceremony. The reception I paid for myself because my little photography side gig finally started making real money. I stare at the key, then at the showroom's glass wall reflecting the Seattle skyline. I've spent 8 years capturing through my lens for magazines that now pay me 6 figures per shoot. They didn't come to my wedding. They didn't answer my calls for 3 days after. But a $135,000 car appears in their cul-de-sac. And suddenly, family matters again. The salesman is still grinning, waiting for my reaction. I force a smile, slide into the driver's seat, and let the door close with that solid German thud that costs extra. The new car smell mixes with something bitter in my throat. I thought today would feel like victory. Instead, it feels like bait. I drive home on autopilot. The engine's low growl, usually my therapy now sounding like a warning dot. My phone lights up again. Dad, this time, we're 10 minutes out. Hope you're home. This is important. Double quotes, important, not congratulations. Not sorry we missed the happiest day of your life. Just important. I pull into my garage, the one I bought with the advance from National Geographic last year, and kill the engine. The silence is deafening. I have exactly 8 minutes to decide whether to let them in or drive away and never look back. I choose neither. I walk inside, pour myself a glass of the Barolo I was saving for my first anniversary with Julian, and wait. They arrive in Mom's white Escalade, the one they bought after telling me my condo down payment was a risky little investment. Dad's wearing the same navy blazer he wore to Landon's promotion. Mom clutches her designer purse like armor. Landon trails behind, eyes already on the Porsche through the open garage door. I open the door before they can knock. Harper, Mom says, stepping forward for the hug. I don't return. We saw the car. It's beautiful. Dad nods, trying for paternal pride. German engineering. Smart choice. Landon circles the 911 like a shark. Turbo S, fully loaded. That's what 135 easy. I sip my wine. Double quotes 1-40-2 with tax. Mom's smile tightens. We're so proud of how far your little photography hobby has come. There it is. Little again. Dad clears his throat. We actually came to talk about family contributions. Now that you're doing so well, we thought you might want to help Landon with a down payment on a house. The market's crazy, and his promotion. I set my glass down harder than necessary. You missed my wedding for his promotion. The air shifts. Mom's hand flutters to her pearls. We explained that. It was a last-minute thing. You know how these corporate dinners, I know how voicemails work. I say I left 12. You never called back. Landon steps between us. Ever the peacemaker when he wants something. Come on, Harp, don't be dramatic. We're here now. I look at the three of them standing in my foyer, the same people who told me at 19 that art school was a waste, that I should study business like Landon, that my little pictures would never pay the bills. I think of Julian waiting at the altar alone while I smiled for photos I didn't feel. I think of the honeymoon we postponed because I couldn't stop crying. I think of the 8 years I spent proving them wrong. One shutter click at a time. And I smile. Let's take a drive. I say I want to show you something. They pile into the Porsche like it's a carnival ride. Mom in the front, Dad and Landon squeezed in the back because there's no real backseat in these things. I drive downtown, past the billboard with my photograph of the Aurora Borealis that earned me my first 6-figure check. Past the magazine, headquarters that flies my images on private jets to shoots in Iceland. Patagonia, Tokyo. I pull up to the building I closed on yesterday. A 10-story glass tower in the heart of the city, still wrapped in scaffolding. The sign reads, Harper Quinn Studios, opening spring, 2026. Mom's mouth actually falls open. Dad leans forward. You bought a building. 10 floors, I say. Top 2 are my private studio and darkroom. The rest will house 20 emerging photographers, full scholarships, gear, travel stipends, all expenses paid. Landon whistles low. That's what, 20 million. 22. I correct. With the Porsche, I'm basically broke again. I let that sink in. Mom recovers first. Well, this is wonderful. Honey, really. But about Landon's house, I turn in my seat to face them. Let me make something clear. You didn't come to my wedding. You didn't call when I won Photographer of the Year. You didn't answer when I told you I was shooting for Vogue. But you saw a car on a Ring camera. And suddenly, family contributions matter. Dad shifts uncomfortably. We're proud of you, Harper. You're proud of what I can give you. I pull out my phone, open the group chat I was never added to until today. The one labeled Walker Family Vacation Fund. Messages from this morning. Mom, Harper's new car means she can definitely cover the Greece villa now. Dad, I'll tell her it's for family unity. Landon, ask for $50,000. She won't miss it. I hold the screen so they can all see. Silence stretches like a held breath. Mom's face flushes crimson. That was just talk. We didn't mean you meant every word. I start the car again. Let's go home. I have something else to show you. Back at my condo, I lead them to the dining table where Julian waits with a thick folder. My husband stands when they enter. 6'4" of quiet strength in the charcoal suit he wore when we renewed our vows alone on an Icelandic glacier because no one came to our first wedding. He kisses my temple. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Walker. Landon, they shift awkwardly. Julian pulls out chairs like a gracious host who isn't one. I open the folder. Inside, the original purchase agreement for the Porsche, registered solely in my name. Next, the building contract also solely in my name. Next, a spreadsheet of every dollar I ever asked them for and never received. Total, $4,200 across 8 years. Every request marked denied in Dad's handwriting. Next, a stack of unopened envelopes. Wedding invitations returned to sender. Save the dates. They never acknowledged. I spread them across the table like evidence. Mom's eyes fill with tears that don't move me anymore. Dad stares at the spreadsheet, like it's written in a foreign language. Landon finds his voice first. This is childish. Harper, you're airing family business. Family, I repeat. The same family who told me at 23 that if I didn't stop wasting money on camera gear, I'd end up homeless. Julian slides the final document forward. A cease and desist letter addressed to all 3 of them for use of my images without permission on their Christmas cards, their LinkedIn profiles, their proud parents' Facebook posts. Dad's face goes gray. You can't be serious. Dead serious. Julian says calmly. Harper's legal team is very thorough. Mom reaches for my hand. I let her hold air. We made mistakes. She whispers. We see that now. I look at each of them in turn. No. I say you saw a $135,000 car. That's what you see now. I stint. You're welcome to attend the studio opening next spring. As guests. Not as family who supported me. Not as parents who sacrificed. Just as people who might finally understand what boundaries look like when they're enforced. They leave without the villa money. Without apologies that mean anything. Without ever touching the Porsche again. Julian closes the door behind them and pulls me into his arms. You okay? I nod against his chest. I'm more than okay. I'm free. The smear campaign starts 48 hours later. Mom's Facebook post. A throwback photo of me at 16 with my first point-hand shoot. Captioned, some children forget where they came from when success goes to their heads. Pray for our family. 300 likes, 72 prayer emoji. Landon tags me in a comment. Disappointing to see greed-tier families apart. By morning, I'm trending locally as the daughter who bought a Porsche instead of helping her brother buy a house. My inbox fills with messages calling me ungrateful, spoiled, a bad Christian. Julian watches me read them with quiet fury. They're trying to rewrite the story again. I close the laptop, let them try. I spend the next week gathering evidence the way I once gathered light. Every denied loan request, every missed milestone, every wedding invitation returned unopened. I compile it into a timeline on my website. The cost of being the invisible daughter. I post it at 3am by 9 a.m. It has 400,000 views. By noon. Vogue runs a feature, Harper Quinn, the photographer, who built an empire while her family watched from the sidelines. National Geographic reposts my Iceland renewal photos with the caption, "This is what love looks like when family doesn't show up." The tide turns so fast it leaves my parents stranded. Country club friends unfollow. Landon's boss asks questions about the family vacation fund. Mom deletes her Facebook post. Too late. Screenshots are forever. 2 weeks later, they show up unannounced again. This time with a bakery box and fake smiles. Mom holds up a cake that says family first. I don't open the door all the way. We come in peace, Dad says. Landon nods. We were wrong. We see that now. I look at each of them in turn. No. I say, you saw a $135,000 car. That's what you see now. Stand, you're welcome to attend the studio opening next Spring. As guests. Not as family who supported me. Not as parents who sacrificed. Just as people who might finally understand what boundaries look like when they're enforced. They leave without the villa money. Without apologies. That mean anything. Without ever touching the Porsche. Again. Julian closes the door behind them and pulls me into his arms. You okay? I nod against his chest. I'm more than okay. I'm free. The smear campaign starts 48 hours later. Mom's Facebook post, a throwback photo of me at 16 with my first point hand shoot. Captioned, "Some children forget where they came from when success goes to their heads. Pray for our family." 300 likes. 72 prayer emojis. Landon tags me in a comment. Disappointing to see greed tear families apart. By morning, I'm trending locally as the daughter who bought a Porsche instead of helping her brother buy a house. My inbox fills with messages calling me ungrateful, spoiled, a bad Christian. Julian watches me read them with quiet fury. They're trying to rewrite the story again. I close the laptop, then try to spend the next week gathering evidence the way I once gathered. Light. Every denied loan request, every missed milestone. Every wedding invitation returned unopened. I compile it into a timeline on my website. The cost of being the invisible daughter. I post it at 3 a.m. by 9 a.m. It has 400,000 views. By noon. Vogue runs a feature. Harper Quinn, the photographer who built an empire while her family watched from the sidelines. National Geographic reposts my Iceland renewal photos with the caption, "This is what love looks like when family doesn't show up." The tide turns so fast it leaves my parents. Stranded. Country club friends unfollow. Landon's boss asks questions about the family vacation fund. Mom deletes her Facebook post. Too late. Screenshots are forever. 2 weeks later, they show up unannounced again, this time with a bakery box and fake smiles. Mom holds up a cake that says family first. I don't open the door all the way. "We come in peace," Dad says. Landon nods. "We were wrong. We see that now." I look at the cake, then at them. "You saw a car." Mom's smile wavers. "We want to make it right. Be part of the studio opening. Stand with you." I step aside. Not to let them in. To let them see the dining table, covered in printouts of their own words. The Facebook post. The group chat. The returned invitations. And one final document. A trespass notice. Effective immediately. Dad's face falls. "You're really doing this?" "I already did," I say years ago. "You just weren't paying attention." 6 months later, Harper Quinn Studios opens to a line around the block. The top floor darkroom smells of fixer and possibility. 20 scholars, ages 18 to 35, stand on the roof terrace clutching brand new Leica cameras. Eyes wide at the city I once photographed from the outside looking in. Julian squeezes my hand as the ribbon falls. Maya, my assistant turned creative director, raises a glass to the woman who turned invisible into iconic. The scholars cheer. None of them know my blood. Family was invited as guests and didn't come. They don't need to. Their families are here. Some for the first time believing their kids might actually make it. I spot a mother crying as her daughter adjusts her lens cap with shaking hands. I walk over. "She'll be okay." I tell her she already is. The mother hugs me like I'm the daughter she always showed up for. Later, a reporter asks if I ever reconciled with my parents. I think of the Porsche parked in my garage, untouched since that first drive. I think of the studio bearing my name, not theirs. I think of the 20 dreamers who will never have to choose between art and family approval. No, I say, but I built a bigger family instead. The article runs with the headline, Harper Quinn, the photographer who exposed her family to develop her legacy 1 year to the day after they skipped my wedding. Julian and I renew our vows again, this time on the studio roof at sunset. Maya officiates. The scholars are our wedding party. Their parents fill the seats. My blood family once left empty. I wear the same dress, now altered to fit the woman I've become. Julian slips the ring on my finger and whispers, "Third time's the tradition." I laugh through happy tears. When the ceremony ends, the scholars release paper lanterns into the sky. 20 points of light, rising above the city I once felt too small for. I watch them float higher and higher until they blend with the stars. Somewhere below, a white Escalade idles. At a red light, I don't look down, I look up. At the family I chose. At the legacy I built. At the boundaries that finally set me free. Sometimes the people who should love you most teach you how to love yourself instead. What would you have done? Kept the Porsche and the parents. or traded both for a family that never needed a $135,000 car to show up.